So I've been incredibly impressed with the Mutable Instruments Plaits module, especially since firmware 1.2 came out. So if you haven't gotten that yet, you've got to upgrade to firmware 1.2. There's a whole bunch of things there, but in particular, a third set of 8 oscillator models, which are incredible. But I wanted to first go through some recipes that I've been discovering for really all 3 of the sets of 8 models, but I want to start with the one set that I used the least before I upgraded, and now suddenly because of the upgrade I discovered it and started using it more, which is the red set. Now that's red, so you can't really tell, but that's what's playing right now, is the 4th red model. And you hear that those red models are typically percussive, but you can see this one here, this one is melodic and quite nice. To be fair, it is playing through an effects module, the Desmodus Versio, but still really nice. So let me go to a dry signal, and let's go back and check out some recipes for this beautiful set of models. And we're just going to focus on the first 4 red modes, red models, and just check out some of the recipes for sounds. Let's start with the first red model. It's the Granular Cloud model, and we're going to do this without a trigger. So let's pull the trigger out, and you can see we're already getting some crazy noise. I have the volume down, but we're going to put the harmonics up to somewhere around 2 o'clock, and the timbre will turn down a bit, and the morph will go somewhere around there. And let's hear what this sounds like. Sounds like an Orchestra Tuning Up. Now if you want the sound of some bowed stringed instruments, you could turn the harmonics to about 9 o'clock. The timbre also about 9 o'clock, and morph around here. Let's hear if we can hear some. It's a little buzzy. You could turn the frequency down. Quite a nice bowed instrument sound. Now if you want some effects for maybe a soundtrack you're doing, and you need that sound of a mosquito in your ear, Yeah, that does it. Now if you wanted like a Side-Chainy kind of sound, like a Side-Chainy plucking sound, you can go with the morph more like centered and get some triggers going. Let's move to the second model, and the second model is a filtered noise model, but you can get some really nice melodic sounds. One, if I actually take harmonics all the way clockwise and get timbre to about 9 o'clock and morph to about 2. Get this like nice mallet sound, kind of like bouncing marimba mallets. Again, we'll play with the frequency a bit. Now that's no effects, but you're getting kind of a bouncy sound from the noise generation. This timbre is a clock frequency of the noise, so I can turn that up to get more hits. And again, don't be fooled by that color. It's actually red. On the video it looks a little bit more like the orange set, but this is the red set. Now we can make these noisier if we want, by turning the harmonics more to center. And go clockwise on timbre. Let's look at the third red model now. So now we're on the third red model, and I'm using this button here to switch it. And now we're going to get something a little crazy. We're going to get rid of trig again. We're not going to trigger this one. We're going to try something a little different. And this is going to sound like bubbling liquid. Almost, not yet. There we go. So if we get morph and timbre around the 1 or 2 o'clock setting, and harmonics in the center, you get like a bubbly. And you can play with the frequency to make it sound a little lower, thick liquid, or water. And this third model is basically particle noise, but you can make it sound like so many things. So we can actually trigger this too and make it sound like a dog drinking water. Maybe sounds like you're walking through puddles. Yeah, that's it. And if we change it just a little bit, to make it sound like you're walking through a tunnel. There it is. Yeah. And this is all the particle noise model. Now let's try something again without the trigger. You get a really beautiful wind chime sound. So we're going to turn harmonics to the center. We're going to go about 9 o'clock on the timbre. And we're going to go fully clockwise on morph. And you just get wind chimes, again with no trigger, so it's just the particle noise. And again, you can have high wind chimes. we turn harmonics up, the more frequency randomization we get. And the more we turn up timbre, the more density, the windier day it is. We could pretty quickly turn this into dripping water. And we're going to trigger this one. Yep. But if we turn the morph up, there we go. Particle noise becomes computer thinking noise. Again, good for soundtracks. Okay, let's look at the fourth model. It's the last one we'll look at for this video. So let's try something now on this fourth model with a trigger. And we're going to try to dial in some church bells. So let's try this. There we go. Now let's say you wanted a buzzy kind of string pad. Yeah, we're close to that. You wouldn't think you'd be close to that with church bells, but we're very close. Now we've got that buzzy string pad. Turn it down to spare you during the transition to some wood blocks. Let's try that. So if you want them snare-like, turn morph up. Yeah, a little bit of snare sound with morph. And less snare. Nice. Now let's say you want more of a steel drum. I think that's what we're getting here. Great range on this fourth model. Again, the INHARMONIC string modeling, but it does way more than that. I think I got a brass section from this model. Let's try that. So we can get muted strings. And move that right into a standing bass. 4th model. And you can even make that a little more like a slap bass. That's just the first 4 models of the red set. And of course, don't forget there's a lot more. There's 4 more red set. Then there's 8 orange. Oops. And 8 green. There's a lot to do here. A lot more recipes to come.